So during this presentation, before going deeper into applied AI solutions with partners and what it means, Vikram and I will give you a quick overview of AI and machine learning at Amazon, generally speaking, and AWS, and talk about some of the barriers to adoption we are seeing. So first, I would argue that at its core, Amazon is a machine learning company. From the very beginning, Jeff Bezos had this vision that machine learning could be a differentiator for an e-commerce platform. From personalized recommendations on the websites to optimizing the supply chain, the right reorder points, forecasting demands, supply chain operations optimization. Later on, with innovations like Alexa, drones within Prime Air, or more recently, Amazon Go, the cashierless experience, machine learning has been at the center of many, many innovations within this company. And so, if you listen to Swami's keynote this morning, anyone? So you probably saw that while we could argue that Amazon 2 decades ago was a pioneer, like we're in a different position today with tens of thousands of companies actually doing machine learning. And I've been there a few years ago starting a company for personalized recommendation where I had to spend most of my time explaining the virtues of AI/ML. We're in a totally different situation today. It's more what I would call an implementation era. Most business leaders are convinced of the value of this technology. The spend is actually there. I like these predictions from IDC here, expecting a market size of well over $100 billion by 2024. Maybe more importantly, Gartner telling us that about 3/4 of organizations, of enterprises, are going to move from experimentation with machine learning to operationalizing machine learning in the next 2 years. And finally, most business leaders, according to Deloitte here, convinced that AI/ML will play a key role to transform their business. So the train has left the station, and therefore for us at AWS, the stake is about how do we take over 2 decades of innovation with machine learning and making it available to as many organizations as possible. And to hear about how we think about it within the service leadership, let's hear from Vikram.
Thank you, Paul. All right, so let me start with talking about some customer anecdotes. So Intuit, an AWS customer, has used machine learning for forecasting. Because during tax season, they will see an increased amount of calls coming in, so they need to be able to figure out how many agents they need to have in their call center to make sure that all those calls are handled in a timely manner. Level 5 is building self-driving technology for Lyft using Amazon SageMaker. And they were able to reduce their training time from days, just a couple of hours. Cerner, who provides healthcare IT services to the healthcare industry, they are using many of our AI services, including Amazon Transcribe, to help improve the operations of their customers. They were also able to build a machine learning model that can predict congestive heart failure 15 months before clinical manifestation. We're also working with the NFL on next-gen stats, which brings old and new data together to come up with really innovative stats for both players as well as viewers. And we have more than 20 next-gen stats that they're using, and they're shown on the broadcast as the game is going on. Despite all this adoption that we're seeing, we still believe that it is early days for machine learning, and there's a lot more innovation that can happen in the future. A few years ago, machine learning was only available to the top companies or companies that could have research scientists employed on their staff. But today, machine learning has become available to all customers. So it's much more mainstream today than it ever was. So we're seeing machine learning getting used for a variety of use cases, from call center analytics to intelligent document processing, but in a variety of verticals, from retail to healthcare to manufacturing. So how does AWS help customers on their machine learning journey? We've built applications across all 3 layers of the stacks to help our customers in their machine learning journey. So at the bottom of the stack, we've got support for all the popular frameworks like TensorFlow, PyTorch, MXNet, so that you can build models with the framework of your choice using the right framework for the right use case. And we also have a variety of compute available for you to use based on your needs. At the middle layer, we've got what we call as Amazon SageMaker, which is a service that takes away the heavy lifting from model building. So you can just focus on implementing the logic, and we take care of using the light libraries, taking care of the distributed training, and then with just a few clicks, you can also deploy your model for inference. And at the top layer, we have what we call as AI services, where we have built the models and then made that available to all of you via APIs, so that you can just use the APIs to build innovative machine learning-powered applications without having to worry about building the actual models yourself. And even further than that, what we're trying to do is bring these various services together in the form of solutions so that you can directly take it and build and develop on top of these base solutions, or some customers can even use the solution as is. So there's a combination of both. And currently, we have solutions in the industrial space as well as the healthcare space. So for industrials, we build things like Monitron, where you can just buy the sensors and start monitoring your equipment, and then look out for equipment where partners or companies can build predictive maintenance applications if they have sensors that are already measuring the data in their manufacturing facilities. Now I'm going to hand it off to Paul to talk through the opportunity to accelerate AI and ML adoption.
Thanks, Srikanth. Many proof of concepts don't make it into production today. It's one of the challenges we want to help our customers to overcome. And one of the reasons why is that is because ML is, let me go back a slide, ML is complex to put in production, especially when you have like multiple services to put together workflow. And as you might know, it's very different from having a successful model performing on a local machine and have an enterprise-grade machine learning solution that keeps performing over time and is really at the standards of other enterprise applications. Therefore, there is a need for customers to find easy-to-implement enterprise solutions. That's number one. Another important trend we are seeing, when I talk to, I know all of you here in the room are not partners, but when I talk to many of you partners, what I often hear is that partners need to have an AI/ML story. It's becoming increasingly important, independently of where you play, independently of the vertical, the technology domain you're in. AI/ML is becoming a strategic imperative for most software vendors today. And taking these two factors into account, what we've tried to do in the past year, 18 months at AWS and in the AWS Partner Network is to put in place a win-win-win approach where customers can find turnkey solutions, easy to implement machine learning solutions for their needs, help our partners build this AI/ML story, and have a way to build like a durable business and come across as innovators with their customers. And if partners are successful, help customers consume AI/ML in an easy way, AWS will win along the way as well. So concretely, how do we do that? So our approach, at least one of our approach, has been to identify some of the top machine learning use cases that are in highest demand within our customer install base. We stack rank these use cases. And for each of them, we identify which use case is conducive for a partner play, usually the ones where you have multiple services that you need to stitch together. We then work with a critical mass of partners that are relevant in the space of the use case, and we co-develop a solution and then go to market together, make a splash, and co-market and co-sell the solution together. So that's what we've internally called applied AI solutions with partners. And the use case we've identified are these ones. You'll see from left to right, from helping customer experience with personalization, mostly in retail, with contact center intelligence. We'll talk more about this use case, media intelligence, use case around business process optimization from intelligent search, Vikram will talk about in a minute, intelligent document processing, fraud detection, business metrics analytics. And to the right, what I would call machine learning operations excellence, from ML modernization to next-gen DevOps that we call machine learning operations. So you might ask yourself, how do we find out which are the top use cases? So we have a few ways for that, from just using Salesforce and looking at our customer opportunities, having anecdotal information from our customers or account managers. And specifically for the use cases that are in high demand with partners, we use an internal tool. So I mentioned that mostly for partners in the room. You might not know about it. We developed that less than a year ago, where we basically, it's an optimized database for machine learning use case, where every time there is a win with a partner and a customer, we inventory it to make it easy for the next account manager that has a similar need with its customer to find a relevant partner for the relevant use case. So not only do we know which use cases are in high demand, but we can also give visibility to partners with our sellers through this tool. I'm closing the parentheses, but just for the partners in the room, make sure you work with your partner manager so that he uses this tool. So with that, now let's deep dive into a few of these use cases and share some of the learnings we got over the past 12 to 18 months.
Thanks, Paul. All right, I'm going to start with intelligent search. So a problem that we saw often with our customers is, especially in enterprises, your data comes in various different formats. So it could be a Word document, a PowerPoint, a text file, a CSV, and so on. And that data is spread across a variety of different systems. So it could be in SharePoint, or in a file system, or a Salesforce, or a ServiceNow, and across your organization. So this first part is all about the complexity of the data. And secondly, 80% of all this data is unstructured. So finding the right information in unstructured data was a huge challenge for these customers. So we built Amazon Kendra for intelligent search. So what we are able to do with Kendra is that you can connect to all these various systems where your data exists using connectors. So we provide connectors. And then we also have partners to provide connectors where we don't have them natively. And that's where, if any of you are partners, you can collaborate with us as well. And once that data has been indexed, we also have machine learning powered search, where customers can ask natural language questions or keyword questions and get the exact answer. For example, someone can say, hey, where is the IT help desk? And we don't just show you a list of documents. We just show you the exact answer. It is second floor, or whatever that answer is. We call that capability as reading comprehension. And we're seeing customers use this search across a wide variety of high-priority use cases, like accelerating research and development. So, if you have pharmacy customers or healthcare customers who do R&D, their teams can use Kendra to search through patents and find the right information so that their scientists are not wasting time trying to find what they're looking for. Compliance is another place. So if you have financial services customers, there are huge compliance documents that they need to be referring to in order to follow the right process for various activities. So being able to search and find the right process or the right guidance from the compliance documents is a big use case. Reducing the time that your agents spend on support. So agent assist is another use case where you can use Kenra, where in the contact center, when the agents are on the call, they can quickly look up the information they need to help your customers. Another big use case is website search. So pretty much every company has a website on which their customers are coming and looking for information. And today, most websites, it's so hard to find what you're looking for. So people end up just calling support in order to find that information. So using Kenra, you can have really useful website for your customers where they can come and find exactly what they're looking for. And finally, employee productivity, right? So you can have search powering your internal search, so your employees, whether they're looking for HR information or financial information or leave data, whatever that is, they can easily find what they're looking for. And along with Kenra, you can also combine other services like Amazon Comprehend if you want to enrich your search by extracting entities out of the documents that you're indexing. You can use Amazon TextTrack if you want to index and search through scanned PDFs and so on, and Amazon Translate if you want to do maybe convert documents into one particular language and then search for those documents. But we also support natively about 35 languages, so you can just index documents in any of those languages that we support. And we have many customers that are using Kenra in production today, from the Wall Street Journal to Magellan Health to Citybot. And we're working with a number of different partners like BA Insight and Raytheon, PwC, and Onyx. The other use case that we see a lot of interest in from our customers and partners is AWS Contact Center Intelligence. And we have a solution that covers an end-to-end whatever customers need in a contact center. So right from the first part where the customer dials in, they just have a simple question. So you could build conversational agents that can answer those questions using services like Amazon Lex and Amazon Polly. Once that stage is crossed, and let's say the use case is more complex, they need to talk to an agent, the call can get transferred to an agent, and then you can use services like Transcribe and Comprehend to analyze how those calls are going. So you can find things like what was the sentiment, why are customers calling, what are your agents saying, did they upsell for that customer, how did the call end? You can do a number of different analysis using Transcribe and Comprehend on those calls. One example of a customer that is using contact center intelligence is the CDC. So, when COVID started, they had to quickly set up a contact center to be able to answer questions from the general population. And so they worked with Maximus, who's a BPO provider, to set up that contact center. And they used the solution provided by Success KPI, who is an AWS partner, that built a call center analytics solution using Transcribe and Comprehend. And they were able to set it up for more than 21,000 agents in under 8 weeks. So it was a huge success story. And they were able to get a 360-degree view of why folks were calling in, including things like hesitancy in taking vaccines and so on. And to make that use case even more simpler for customers as well as partners to implement, what we did was we brought all these different services together in one API. And that's called the Amazon Transcribe Call Analytics API. So now you don't have to call Transcribe get the text from the audio, and then call comprehend to extract the sentiment or entities or anything like that. You just pass your audio to the Call Analytics API, and it returns everything to you. For example, you can get the turn-by-turn transcripts, right? So we process both dual channel audio, and we give you, this is what the agent said, this is what the customer said. PII redaction, because a lot of these calls will have PII information from your customers, so you want that to be redacted. Issue detection, so it'll tell you exactly why the customer called. Sentiment analysis, where it'll tell you what the sentiment score is. Call categorization, where you can actually set up your own categories so that each call will get categorized into one of the categories that you set up. And then what we call as call characterization. So, were the voices raised, or, how was the sentiment during this call, and so on. And this is a good example of what we're doing to make the life of our partners as well as customers easier. Because this is the feedback we got saying, hey, it's nice that you have these capabilities like comprehend and transcribe, but it's more cumbersome for us to go and put all these things together to build solutions. And that's why we built this API, so that you get a simple pricing where it's per minute pricing. You don't have to worry about all the components that go into it, and you can easily build contact center analytics solution on top of this API. Now I'm going to hand it off to Paul to take you through the rest of it.
And before going there, a quick comment on what Vikram just shared. I love this example of transcribed call analytics, where mostly driven by partner proof of demand in the market, stitching together transcription and natural language processing for call analytics in contact center. The service team, the product team took this feedback and built a higher level of abstraction. So the takeaway is, like, when there is interest to make your life easier for partners in the room, we'll hear you, and the service team is committed to help you. Don't really spend time on the undifferentiated heavy lifting. So I find this example quite interesting from that perspective. The other question you might ask yourself on this particular solution is, hey, I thought Amazon had Amazon Connect for all things contact center. So quick clarification here, that's true. Amazon Connect is our organic, all-in-one contact center product. It has AI/ML embedded with contact lens that was covered by Swami this morning, and that's a very successful product. It turns out that for the customers that already have a contact center in place or have chosen another product that's Amazon Connect, we still want to help these organizations to add intelligence to their existing contact center. And that's why we've invested into this solution, Contact Center Intelligence, hearing from our customers, not on Amazon Connect, that they still wanted to benefit from some of our AI/ML innovation in that space. And when I talked a bit earlier about critical mass of partner around a top use case, that's what we meant. You see here a very well-known organization in the contact center industry, such as Genesys, Talkdesk, in CRM like Salesforce, as well as a lot of point applications on the left, and consulting partners on the right. The idea here is that we build the foundation, and each of these partners come and add their own differentiation on top of our AI/ML capabilities. And one thing which was a very interesting learning for us is when we do that, meaning identifying a popular use case, work with a critical mass of partner, and go to market together, then the market pays attention. If you search for AWS CCI, you'll find 30+ unique piece of coverage in the press, many press releases, and that's something that our partners love, because that gives them an awareness platform, a communication platform to be visible. Sorry, wrong button. And yes, I welcome, while I'm on this slide, the two latest additions to CCI, UniMRCP, an open source platform that helps you connect to basically any contact center voice platform to our AI services, and Infosys that you probably know. And to continue on this like awareness benefit we've discovered, here are a few examples that show that not only do like journalists and people in customers notice, also seeing a lot of interest from the top voice in this given industry, in this example of contact center intelligence. If you know the space, Dan Miller and Sheila Maggie-Smith are probably two of the most listened influencers in that space, praise the effort around CCI. We had, it's important for software vendors and for AWS as well, to be well featured into vendor assessments. IDC last year in their ML software platform really commended our efforts around solutions-oriented investments with CCI. So that shows that it got a lot of attention here. And it gives partners, in this example, TalkDesk, an opportunity to be recognized at the strategic level by some of these other influencers, in this case, praising them for having a dual strategy when it came to AI/ML with their own IP and using AWS AI/ML capabilities. So if you're a partner, you probably asked us in the past, like, how can I get the word out of visibility? And so this approach was one of the ways we found quite effective to gain market awareness. Since this is a partner presentation originally, I'm going to advocate for some of the programs and benefits that exist in the AWS Partner Network. What we saw with partners that were the most successful with these solutions, still using this example of contact center intelligence, is that these partners use the bits and pieces we've built over the years in the APN to make them successful. Success KPI, Vikram just talked about, that was featured by Swami this morning in his keynote, really leveraged a lot of these programs and benefits from the machine learning competency in which we created an applied AI category to recognize such partners using these solutions to ISV Accelerate program to help partner co-sell. And that led to very successful co-marketing and co-sales activities. TalkDesk, I just talked about, was a customer built on AWS, but did not engage in any partner activities, maybe because of the overlap with Amazon Connect. They saw the value into a use case focused approach like CCI and leaned in with the AWS Partner Network, becoming an advanced partner, joining the marketplace, ISV Accelerate, and also had a lot of success when it came to joint marketing and sales activities over the past few months and quarters. So that was like a deep dive into a couple of solutions where we saw some very positive signals in the market this year. Without going at the same level of depth, I'm just going to give you another couple of examples of solutions where we saw a lot of successes. The first is intelligent document processing, IDP in short, basically helps organization to extract data from documents, paper documents, and written documents, PDFs, and analyze it, push this data in the cloud, and apply NLP, translation, sentiment analysis, and other AI capabilities on top of it. If you listen to Adam, our CEO's keynote Tuesday, you probably heard about United Airlines example, and this lady from United talking about how implementing TextRact and other AI/ML capabilities in SageMaker, United Airlines was able to fast-track, to streamline the process of verifying the vaccination certificates and COVID tests, which used to take 7 minutes, I think, on average at the beginning of the pandemic when it was done directly before the boarding of the plane. And with this solution that was implemented with the help of one of our partners, Slalom, you can now, with United, upload your vaccination certificate or COVID test in advance, and it's greatly improved the boarding operations. It's a good example of what this solution can do. Many very good examples too in the financial industry, healthcare, insurance claim processing. Another solution where we saw good traction is what we call media intelligence, which is basically made to help companies that either create, process, stream media, meaning videos, audio, images. And that can be in media and entertainment, but also in education, in advertising, and basically in any industry today where companies use TikTok to market their solution or product. I'll pick on a French example here. Synchronized, one of our partners, helped TF1, one of the leading TV channels in France, to semi-automate the process of viewing all of the movies and shows on the platform, video on demand platform, to select the right thumbnail and to summarize the contents of each piece of movie. So that's what we wanted to share with you in terms of the most successful solutions aligned with the top use cases in how partners play a key role when it came to adoption of these solutions. So we talked about contact center intelligence, intelligent search, intelligent document processing, and media intelligence. The latest solution along these lines is AI for data analytics that we announced on Monday and leverage some of our AutoML capabilities, such as SageMaker Autopilot or Amazon Forecast. And the reason why we've invested into this solution for this use case of embedding predictive analytics into some of the most popular analytics workspaces is because many organizations told us that one of the barriers to adoption for machine learning today is the shortage of data scientists. And so we wanted to help many of our customers take advantage of the large pool of good data people who know the business, know how to manipulate data, but do not know how to code, don't have a data science degree. So we work with partners from the ones helping to access the data, database and data warehouses, visualize the data with business intelligence and business application analytics partners, or business process automation that help take action with insights to really embed these capabilities within their products. And same logic, we collaborate, and the end result is the partner solution the customer can buy or implement. Partners we announced this solution with on Monday are the following, so well-known name in the industry here. I won't go into the detail of what each of these solutions does. If you're curious about it, I encourage you to search for AWS ADA. You'll find the announcements and the blog and a few press articles and press releases showing what this product do with some demos and some screenshots. For instance, I'm personally quite excited by this solution, identifying myself as a potential user target. And you'll see some no-code interfaces within Qlik, Domo, or Anaplan, helping you to create models, train models, use these models, all that in a no-code environment. Or in the example of Snowflake, for instance, with one line of SQL, you query to train a model, you write a second line of SQL to use this model on new data. It's an awesome experience. And Western Union is one of the customer early adopters who benefited from it. And exactly like the other solutions, what we want here with ADA is to really help customers and partners be confident about the technology underneath with these capabilities the service team has developed, which is reliable, scalable, and really move the conversation toward business outcome. In this case, that's really about, hey, how can I help you address this shortage of data scientists? How can I help you break these silos between the data science department, when you have one, and the business? And really focus on key business discussions using foresights into your business, such as churn prediction, sales forecasting, propensity to buy type of use cases in marketing departments, so that you talk about reducing costs, improving the customer experience, and increasing your revenue. that's what we wanted to share with you today. Hopefully, you learned something about this approach to really provide more turnkey solutions aligned with top use cases to customers, collaborating with partners in the space. And in terms of next step, I would encourage you, if you're curious about it, if you're a partner in particular, to explore, be curious, talk to your partner manager, talk to us, ping Vikram and myself if you have questions. One of the best parts of my job is to sit down with partners and to brainstorm on use case for their business. And often these are not machine learning partners, but companies that imagine ways to reinvent their business or modernize their business with machine learning. Engage, you saw like the power of using, for partners in the room, the programs and the benefits available in the partner network. If you're a customer or a prospect, engage with us, engage with partners to know more about these solutions. And finally, hopefully, you're convinced now that partners have a key role to play when it comes to AI/ML adoption. And what I tell partners in the room is, we won't be successful in AI/ML without you. So you have a seat to the table. Take it. Tell us what use cases we are missing. Tell us which horizontal use case you want to take and make specific to a vertical you are evolving in. What else could we do to help you and help your customers adopt this technology? So that's what we would love to hear from you. Vikram and I are going to stick around for some questions, so please come talk to us directly. We'll stay down the stage. And thank you very much for your time and attention today. And last thing, please don't forget to fill the survey. It's important. If you like the talk, put us 5 stars. It's important for us. If you have good feedback, constructive feedback, put it in there, and come also share that with us. We love to hear from you. Thank you.